Morning, Rabotai, Erev Shabbat Shalom. Many people have asked about the impending snowstorm this coming Shabbat, Be'ezrat Hashem. Whatever happens, what's the halacha with regards to shoveling and putting out ice melt on Shabbat? So first of all, with regards to the muktzah status of snow on Shabbat, there is a Bet Yosef at the end of Siman Shin Yud, quoting Shibolei HaLeket, who quotes Tshuvat HaGeonim from Rav Tzemach Gaon, who says that any rain that falls on Shabbat is not considered muktzeh, even if there were no clouds the day before, which means it came out of nowhere. The issue over here is possibly nolad, something that comes into existence on Shabbat, and the Bet Yosef clearly paskins that there's no issue of any rainfall on Shabbat. That is also the psak of Maran HaShulchan Aruch Siman Shin Lamed Chet. There's no difference in halacha, say the Acharonim, between rain and snow. Snow is just frozen rain, and therefore the halacha is that it is absolutely permissible to move that kind of snow on Shabbat. It is not considered muktzeh. Many Geonei Olam say the same. The Rav Tzvi Pesach Frank and Har Tzvi, many Gdolim say the same thing. Unlike a Gaon Rav Moshe Feinstein in Igrot Moshe Chilek He Siman Kav Bet, who says that snow is muktzeh on Shabbat, Maran Zichrono Livracha writes in Chazon Ovadia Shabbat Chilek Gimal that he is incorrect and snow is not muktzeh on Shabbat. Now, once we've said that snow is not muktzeh, what about shoveling? Is shoveling the snow mutar on Shabbat? There's a Sheilot U'Tshuvot Lev Avraham that says that it's considered an overextension of oneself on Shabbat. The person is not allowed to exert that much effort on Shabbat, and therefore it's considered a weekday thing. You can't do it on Shabbat. Maran Zichrono Livracha in Chazon Ovadia disagrees with that as well. He brings many poskim, the Har Tzvi, Maharsham, Nishmat Shabbat, and many others that say that it is perfectly acceptable to shovel snow on Shabbat. You have to make sure, obviously, that the surface under the snow is covered, which means not grass, not dirt, because then that could be a plowing issue, an issue of charisha on Shabbat. But if it's concrete, asphalt, whatever it is, then it is acceptable to shovel the snow on Shabbat, even using a regular shovel. Since shoveling is not a problem, using a shovel is not muktzeh, it's permissible as well. Even though you are piling it together somewhere else, that's not your kavanah, and therefore it will be mutar. Now, what about putting out ice melt on Shabbat? La halacha, the same Lev Avraham that says that it's asur to shovel, which we don't paskin like, the halacha it is mutar to shovel. However, the Lev Avraham over there writes that it is mutar to put out ice melt, whether it's sodium chloride, calcium chloride pellets, whatever it is, ice melt. It can be a sakana. If the snow freezes into ice and people walk, it can be very treacherous for people to walk there. And therefore he brings it ayah that just like you are allowed to move a kutz, if there is a dangerous object like a thorn or something like that in Ushut Rabim, you're allowed to move it less than 4 amot at a time, which is an Isur D'Rabbanan. He says certainly you'd be able to put out ice melt on Shabbat, which over there cannot be worse than Ovadin Dechol. Melting ice, you are not actively but passively causing it to melt on Shabbat, which is not an Isur. Maybe it's a weekday activity, and therefore he says, Bimkom Sakana, where there is a danger, it is mutar to put out snow or ice melt out on Shabbat. And therefore, La halacha ul ma'aseh, in all of these cases, snow that fell on Shabbat is not muktzeh. Snow may be shoveled on Shabbat as long as the surface under the snow is not grass or earth, and you're allowed to put out ice melt in order to melt the ice or the snow on Shabbat in a place where it might get slippery and it causes sakana to the family or to the public. That is la halacha ul ma'aseh. However, there is one thing that is definitely asur on Shabbat. Sometimes children and even adults, they like to make snowballs or they like to make snowmen on Shabbat. Taking pieces of snow and putting them together, that is over here, since it's not meant to last for a long time, but at the end of the day, it's at least a rabbinic prohibition of boneh on Shabbat. You're taking smaller pieces and lumping them together. That is a prohibition of boneh on Shabbat. So snowballs are asur. Snow is not muktzeh, but making a snowball is asur. Making a snowman is also asur on Shabbat. Have a wonderful day. Stay warm and stay safe. Shabbat shalom v'vorach.